Welcome to the Remote First Podcast, a podcast about how modern agencies are built without borders. And today's guest is very special, near and dear to my heart. I've known Nick for the last 4 to 5 years now, at least. And Nick wears a lot of hats. He's a husband, a father, a pilot. We were just talking about Nick landing right next to me in Buffalo, and hopefully we're going for lunch. But at his core, he's a builder. Over the past decade, he's helped small businesses grow. Welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Azar, that may be the best intro I've ever had. And the check's in the mail. I appreciate that. I'll send that.
No,
you
man.
And I,
like
you and I have been friends for, like you said, 4 to 5 years now. And I've gotten the chance to watch you grow Rep Stack and your podcast. And I couldn't be more proud, not only to just work with you, but to know you and to be your friend, man. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
You're welcome, Nick. This is awesome, and I really appreciate you honoring me with your presence because, like I said, we're reinventing ourselves. And one of the things that we decided to do was that it's great to talk to people in different areas of their business journeys, but most of our people want to get to the levels where you are already, right? Multiple seven figures. And I've seen you grow over the last 5 years as well. And I've seen those years where you're coming in with the energy levels down, and I see you 3 months later where the energy levels are up and you're good to go. And same thing for us. And we've been through those ups and downs over the last 5 years. So I think that's what we want to explore a little bit. We're going to also keep it around the teams that do the fulfillment, because at this level where you are right now, you and I were talking about it, that you're not as much involved in the day-to-day of the business anymore, right? Like ideally you're creating content all day, or you're talking to your best clients, or you're, the better yet, flying out to go see your best clients. So here's my first question for you, Nick. When you think about your journey as a founder, what's the one thing that you really had to learn about yourself over the last 5 years that has made the biggest impact? For example, for me, my journey it started 7 years ago, where I've been an agency owner for the last 20 years. And my journey started about 7 years ago, where I decided that, hey, I got to start learning proactively. That was the one thing that I changed about myself. And that made every difference, like daily purpose-driven learning every single day. Today, I have that as part of my arsenal. What was it for you?
I try and stay positive in the things that I say, especially when it's regards to myself. You asked, what is one thing I had to learn about myself through this journey? And that is a weird one, is that I'm ambitiously lazy. I'm ambitiously lazy. And again, that doesn't sound sexy and it doesn't look really good on paper, but it's this dichotomy. I really want to get things done. I want to leverage people to do it, right? How can you leverage people to do something if you don't have an ethical value attached to it? So it's learning how to balance being ambitious and a go-getter and a driver without running over people that are going to be the ones that help take you there. Does that make sense? I had to learn that about myself, that I am ambitiously lazy. So
that's fantastic. Yeah. In other words, what you're trying to do is that you're still like super driven, but you don't want to do the work yourself. But I've seen you, there was times where you were doing a lot, right? I saw the burnt out Nick, like it was maybe a few years back. And I see you now, and I see how do you get better at being ambitiously lazy? I guess that's a question.
You surround yourself with the right people. That's the number one thing, is to understand enough about yourself on where you're good. Here's the way I do it when I'm coaching another agency or talking to one of my team members. And that is going through this process of love, hate, tolerate. So how do you become ambitious and then still get the things off of your plate. You do the things you love and you hire for the things that you're either not good at or they just drain your energy. Getting good at that love, hate, tolerate segment allowed me to really invest in people properly. And I think everybody, Azar, as a new business owner, or let's just say an early business owner, their first hire is not always their best hire because they didn't know what they were trying to get off their
Mm,
plate in the first place. You know
mm,
what I mean? And I think an ambitious person knows they have to get from point A to point B, but they don't know what it is that's draining the life out of them in pursuit. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So identifying those pain points was crucial early on.
Love, hate, tolerate.
Right. And
Love.
here's what that looks like practically. Every day when you're sitting down and you're doing the things that you do, like email or phone calls or client meetings or team meetings or writing somebody up or whatever it is that you're doing, name all of those tasks. And here's the task. And then in three other columns, you write love, hate, tolerate. You literally just check the box that it pertains to it. I love client meetings. I hate sales. I love our sales meeting. I hate our Monday team meeting, or I tolerate checking my email. I don't need to outsource that yet. Those are the kind of things that allow you to really dial in your hiring process when you're trying to pursue something heavy and not go into burnout, like you were talking about. I was in burnout because I was trying to do the things that I thought I was supposed to be doing, but I hated doing them. I don't
Mm.
love to sell. How many founders have you talked to that don't love to sell?
Not very many.
It's normally the thing that people love to do, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
don't get me
yeah,
wrong, I love talking to clients and I love having a
yeah.
good time, but I don't like overcoming objections.
But
I
you know
don't.
what I like more, Nick, is that sales order coming in without me doing it. So
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, there's really nothing like it where I'm on vacation or something like that with my family and two or three clients sign and I had absolutely nothing to do with it. It's
yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I like it. And I think, and as you've grown your agency over the last 5 years that I've been seeing, you've just gotten better at being ambitiously lazy by the formula that you have, which is keep the stuff that you love, remove the stuff that you hate. And then what about the tolerate bucket? What are you doing? You're just like, you like your emails, you're just making sure that you're doing it. Does that go in that bucket?
It's funny. I've moved the vast majority of my tolerate stuff. All of it is just about off me now. But you are correct. I still look at my own email and I
Hmm.
spend a lot of time forwarding emails. And I'm like, this is just about the least valuable part of my time. But I
Hmm.
tolerate it because I don't have a clear understanding of how to offload that to somebody. You know what I mean? So I tolerate it. It's not, if you've heard of the dog on the porch that's moaning, have you ever heard that story?
I haven't.
So a guy walks up to an old house and there's a dog laying on the porch and it's just crying, whimpering, but it's not moving.
Hmm.
It was laying on a nail and the nail hurt, but it didn't hurt enough for him to get up and move. I just sat there and whined about it, but didn't do anything about it. That's email to me.
Yeah, I guess you can package them in. I guess when the tolerate list grows enough, you can just package them in and find a person to hand over everything to them.
I think
Like
there's
in,
another secret layer to that too, though. Azar, forgive me for interrupting. I think there's another secret layer to that too, in that both the love and the hate things outside of content, both of those have already now filled those roles. Right. And it'll expand. We'll hire more people as we grow and stuff like that. But for the most part, at this point, oddly enough, the tolerate stuff's about all I have left on my plate. And I think there's a certain fear of letting those little things go in fear of becoming irrelevant in the company.
hmm.
We're doing a psychology lesson now, sir.
I think that's what's needed, right? Because this is where we're going to start out, and it may sound like really cliche, the stuff that we're talking about, but at
Right.
the end of the day, this is the crux of our journeys over the last 5 years. You're going to have some sort of mantra, something that is really defining you, and you're going to go full double down on that thing, and that's what's going to be the lever for you to change the business
Right.
over the next course of the lifetime. So another question I have for you is that, like, we've been hanging out for a really long time now, and
Right.
I know the Nick that I know for the longest time. What
Correct.
was that like mindset switch that finally happened? And tell me a little bit about that. Like, why did you wait for as long as you did? And when exactly, what was the defining moment that you finally decided that, hey, we can hire from outside of Birmingham?
That's a really good question. All right. So the shift that happened for me is I was dedicated to hiring locally to impact and make a difference in the people and the communities that I serve. Okay. And that does still matter to me. So we'll put a pin in that. It really does still matter to me. But here's what I found is that I have a vision and a value to take care of those people, and they were indifferent toward me. And what I mean by that is our culture is an amazing culture, but it'll only carry you so far when other people start throwing bigger dollars at people. Right. And
Hmm.
so what I found is just because I care about making an impact on the local community doesn't mean that the local community cares about making an impact with me. And so what I found was, okay, I'm being loyal to a group of people who doesn't really reciprocate on the loyalty, which means I'm going to open my mind up a little bit and I'm going to just hire to make an impact wherever I can make an impact. Does that make sense? So instead of backyard, what if I could hire somebody in Pakistan, Raheel, Salahuddin? What if I could hire people that didn't look like me, talk like me, think like me, all that kind of stuff? One, it brings a completely different mindset into the company of a similar set of values that we're trying to grow our company, right? And we're trying to grow
Hmm.
our clients' companies, right? And I could make an impact in other parts of the world that may not affect me directly. So that was really just having some turnover in employees and it really having an impact on my brain is like, why am I pouring into people who don't really share the same value? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally
So that
does.
was the shift. That was the shift.
And that just happened this past year, I think.
It did. Our lives. It's going to sound terrible, but it is what it is. I can impact more lives with a group out of Pakistan or India or whatever because I can bring more of those awesome people onto my team. I can hire 3 or 4 or 5 people for the price of one person here in Alabama. I'm 5Xing my impact on what my real goal is, and that is to make an impact on a human that's impacting their family.
Yeah, and then also when you talk about serving your community, you can there's still so many different ways of giving back to our communities. It's not just by hiring local people. And yeah, I think Josh's example comes to mind as well, where that's what he talks about, that the impact that you're going to have is going to be on many different levels. It's not just going to be in your local cities, but now it's going to be across countries, across states. Many of our clients hire all over the US now. And
Right.
so there's that. Plus, when you come talk about giving back, we want to give back too, but there's so many different ways that we can now give back. I think the most important thing is that we need to provide the services to our clients, and if we can find the talent in our backyard, the type of people that we want, who are like extremely ambitious, like you said.
Right.
And if somebody's not hitting that check mark, then we got to look outside of what our tradition was. And I think you made that decision this past year. And I feel like you made a fantastic decision, because this is just the beginning of what you can probably do with this stuff. Because, and the funny part is, Nick, that I also feel, I don't know if you agree with me on this or not, but as a small business owner or an agency owner, we're really closely tied with the people that we hire, especially our
Right.
early on people. It's a very emotional decision. And these are people that we're hanging out with, and we're really infatuated with these guys. We want to work with them. Some of them have been with us for since the start of it. Sometimes it's really hard to look beyond that emotional stuff as well. And I think the longer you do like you've done, I think you probably had to go through a big decision this year,
I
because
did.
that would have been a tough decision, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's put a total shift on our thinking completely, right? Now, if somebody chooses to leave the company, I am now changing the way I hire for that role. I'm calling you
Hmm.
and figuring out, hey, what can we do here? How can we fill this role where it makes sense? But yeah, you're absolutely right. I delayed what feels like the inevitable. This was a change that was going to have to happen, and it made sense to happen. And I just delayed it for the wrong reasons, I think, for far too long. I think I would have been a much healthier place, and I would have gotten to this place a lot sooner had I made this shift 2 or 3 years ago.
I
Wait,
think
it's
I
a
would call it, you delayed it for the right reasons,
okay, that's
but
fair.
you're approaching it in the right direction. But in some cases, that right direction that we think is right is not the best for our clients and it's not the
Yeah,
best for the business. The business as an entity, the first responsibility is we got to make it profitable. If
correct.
nobody's making money out of it, then nobody survives,
That's right.
right? So
100%.
I think the heart was in the right place. And that's why I said that this is such an emotional decision. When we hire people and when we let go of people, the outside of our personal lives, our families, these are the most important decisions we're making when we hire someone, or
Mm,
and especially when we're firing someone. It's not an easy thing to do. And sometimes, unfortunately, and especially on the smaller side, when early on we make really irrational decisions, and then we try to justify them for sometimes years and years until we finally realize. So the realization is a good point, and I think you're definitely on track here. And we're going to talk a little bit more about it. My next question here, Nick, is around retention. And so now you have a team of around 18 to 20 people. What's the impact like right now? What do you think? Did everyone in the right seats making the biggest impact? Or is there something else, which is like how big of an impact does the right people in your team have on the success that your agency has had over the last 5 years?
theoretically, we are theoretically the impact is monumental, and that having the right people in the right seats is going to retain clients and help us grow. The challenge is I don't know, because we're still not even a full year removed. We almost, it'll be what, April, I think, since we've been
Yeah,
working with you,
yeah.
but we're not even a full year removed. Okay, let me say it this way. In April and May of 2025, we have a completely different production team than we do today.
Hmm.
Production,
Interesting.
ads, SEO, all that kind of stuff. So that is a profound impact on a business. Even if you're a multiple seven-figure business, that's a big impact. That's hard.
Hmm.
We had some client turnover. It was a challenge. We're stress testing our SOPs, right? All of these kind of
Hmm.
things, because we had people that were with us for a long time leaving to go to other companies, and then we're hiring people and we haven't done this before, and we're trying to figure it out, right? What's the best way to do it? How do people want to be treated? We're in different countries, we're doing different things. I think, like, theoretically, it's the best our team has ever been, and it's less than a year old. Think about that.
Nice.
Think about that.
Nice. Yeah. I think that's really true, right? Like when we see like we just had our best year, we started 5 years ago. And when we see our team, that's the feeling you're going to always have. You're going to see directly proportional to the results that you're having. You're going to
Mhm.
see that, hey, I have a great team compared to 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whenever. This is the best I've had.
Right.
And I feel like that's just going to be directly proportional every time. You're going to see major improvement in your business. You're going to see it's not just you, it's the people that you brought on into the business. So my next question, Nick, is around we in the agency world, we love talking about client retention,
Sure.
but we also have this amazing team now that you're really responsible for and you really personally feel for them. So how do you retain, like, what are your top strategies for retaining your employees?
Okay. First of all, treat people the way you want to be treated. That mind, will, emotions, families, combination of their lived experiences. And I guess the best way for me to approach that, how do I take care of my team? I'm learning cricket for my team. If that gives you shit, like, when season starts up, we will be wearing our green Pakistan cricket outfits, right? So
Love
if
it.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how you take care of your team, is you care about the things that they care about. I tell people all the time, I say all the time, I tell people, if you want to love me, love the people that I love, care for the
Hmm.
people that I care about, show value to the things that I value, not just to me personally. And so that's how. I know that sounds a little abstract, but to take a personal interest in one of our team members who just had a baby, right?
Nice.
And us finding ways to send care packages to them into another country, but letting them know, one of the saddest things that we heard, that we didn't know this existed until we started working with you. I can't remember which, if it was Raheel, I can't remember who it was, but they asked us, When we were setting up their email, we asked them to set up their email. They go, "What do you want my name to be?" Do you know what I'm talking about, Azar?
Yeah,
Is this
yeah.
the thing? They're like, "Do you want me to be Brad? Do you want?" I'm like, what are you talking about? Your name is, I think it was Salahuddin, but I was like, your name is Salahuddin. Why in the world would I change your name? He goes, but think about the context of that statement. He wanted to know if I needed him to change his name so that he could. I'm like, who is treating you like this? You know what I'm saying? And you know what? If you're listening to this and you feel called out, I'm calling you out. They're people, man. Chill out and treat them like people, dude. Don't make them change their stupid name. Are you kidding me? Sorry if that's a rant. You may have to cut that out. But I
Yeah, and
was
how
blown away.
important is it going to be for your clients to be like our clients? I feel like they're already used to having everyone from a melting pot of the Americas that we're used to right now. And
Right,
from their bank teller to the person who's serving them food to
right,
everyone in between. And here again, I feel like it comes down to the being the emotional founder that we are sometimes, where we
right.
have this in our head that, hey, maybe this is what my clients want. But I think our clients at the end of the day, they just want great results.
That's it.
And I feel like it would probably be more important to them if you treated everyone with fairness and kindness. And this is the type of team that you're running.
Right.
And that's a win-win, I feel like. If you want a side impact, I think that's the way to take a look at it. I love that. Great idea, man. I don't
Well,
think.
I'm of the opinion that as an owner and a founder, it is not my job to take care of my clients. It is my
Mhm.
team's job to take care of my clients. It is my job to make sure that my team feels cared for and set up for success.
Yeah, so you take care
That's
of
my
your
focus.
people, and your
Yeah.
people then go ahead and take care of your clients.
That's how it has to be. Otherwise, I will have a revolving door business with team members and it'll never end. And that's not what we want.
Yeah. No, but I think that's a great answer, man. I love it. Just treat people with fairness and kindness, and I think
Right.
that goes a long way. Here's another question for you. You know our good friend Josh Nelson, right? I don't know if you know the story or not. Pre-COVID, Josh was about in his marketing agency at the plumbing and HVAC SEO. Josh was about 35 people, everyone in their office in Miami, and then COVID happens and everyone's working from home.
Right.
And so they go from 100% full office to 100% remote work. And then post COVID, they have a little bit people coming back here and there. So they're like a hybrid business now. And now, 5 years post COVID, guess what? They're 100% remote first team. They still
Right.
have their, now they let go of their office that they had in Miami, and now they just rely on a temporary co-working space that I have been. This is like a multiple seven-figure agency that I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
Josh has gone from being completely in office to fully remote first over the last 5 years. Do you see yourself taking that step?
Great question. We're testing to see how that works. It's funny that you asked that question because for the first time, starting last Monday, that's what's today,
Hmm.
Tuesday. So less than 2 weeks ago, I let the team know that there is no longer any obligation to come to the office unless you want.
Oh,
And so
nice.
some people are coming, some people are staying at home. And that is our first step into testing a fully remote situation. Our lease isn't up here for another 3 years. So no matter what, I've got the space, right? Depending on how the next 3 years pan out and how we replace team members, how we structure all of this, I can see a world where we are not coming to the office every day. Now, with that being said, you can see behind me my studio, and I've got on the other side is where I do webinars for my company as well, and it's all set up
Hmm.
over there. So as of now, practically speaking, it doesn't make sense for me to lose the space because I use it for more than just team stuff,
Hmm.
right? But that doesn't mean this can't be built out at home or somewhere else. Hope that answered your
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. So you have some time, you're going to play around with it
Right.
and see what happens. Is there any benchmarks you're looking at in this time frame where if this works, you're in the good direction? And is there anything surprising that you've seen? I think it's probably too early, but I guess you do have some experience of working with people from our side to test it out as well.
We've learned how to transition culture from in person to virtual. And I think
Mm,
that really is the fear factor. especially if you're like me and our first core value is culture trumps everything. It is the number one core value that we have because I think everything else is predicated on having an amazing culture. Virtually, when you're so used to high five and knuckle bumping, laughing at the cooler, joking,
Yeah.
sitting around and showing each other a TikTok video from time to time, and still
Yeah.
busting it and holding each other accountable and looking people in the eyes and saying you need to get after it. Like, how do you transition that? We came across a software a couple of years ago and we have fallen in love with it called Kumo Space. Have you ever heard of
Hmm.
it?
Yeah, I have. I was just
So
looking at it this morning.
we love it. Our team loves it. It really does feel like you're in the office with people. It really does feel like you're in the office with people. And I think without that tool, I wouldn't even consider going fully remote. And now I am measuring. You asked what the measurement was to be go back to make a short story long, which is what I've done. The real measurement is how are people engaging? How is it affecting the culture that we've built? And is it sustainable out of office? Those are the measurements.
Hmm.
It's not did we make money, although that'll matter. It's not
Hmm.
did we grow our team. It's not any of those things. It's really, are we able to maintain who we are without being in person?
Yeah, I love it. I think yeah, transitioning of that culture. And one of these rep camps that we had back home for all our people, we had on our hoodies printed culture eats strategy for breakfast.
It,
And I think that's to your point and so important to us. But luckily for us, we've been remote first from day one, so we've
right,
built out these systems. One of the things that we do, and this could be, I don't know, like some people may like it, other people might be giving you some ideas here, but using of tools like Time Doctor or reporting
mhm,
tools, especially when you're working in a remote environment. What are your feelings about that? For example, us 300 plus people at RepStack, everyone has to, even my directors, everyone, even the people who look at my own emails and accounts, my executive assistants, everyone has to keep a time doctor login on while they're doing the 8 hours for
right,
RepStack. So is that, and I feel I get it. It's a maybe a deterrent, but we've been really using it as a productivity tool where the managers can go in and see that, hey, it's taking Ramsha a little bit longer on this task than everybody else. So let's go
right,
and find her help on this particular task because every time
right.
she goes into doing a podcast edit, it's longer than everybody else. Have you thought about doing anything? I know you may not have thought about it because, the type of person you are,
Right.
but does that integrate in your culture strategy online?
It may in the future. I will tell you this. We used Harvest for the first 2.5 years in business, and it was damaging to me. It was
Mm,
damaging to me as the leader. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not. I 100% understand why people use it and they lean on it. Here's what was happening to me. If I'm paying somebody for an 8 hour day, and then I would go in and I would see 4.5 hours of track time on projects and stuff like that, I would default, I guess it's because of my personality. I don't know what I would default to they're stealing from me. And I know
mm,
that's not true. I know that's not true. I
mm,
know there is time where you're not working on a specific task, but you're thinking about how
mm.
to do something, or you're working on a strategy physically on a piece of paper or something like that,
Are you
right?
having a conversation with someone in the
Yeah,
office or things like
exactly.
that?
So it was so toxic to me, not to my team, but to me. They didn't mind going in and tracking their time, but I had this feeling and it was not good. And I was looking at people. What did I say earlier? People are not a unit of production. People are not
Mm,
a number to me. And so if every minute of their day, something's wrong with that for me. So
mm,
we elected not to do that. Now, what I do is I measure inputs and outputs, right? So leading and lagging indicators, all of those kinds of things. It's not like I have this carte blanche, you can do whatever you want. No, we have
mm.
tasks that we
That's not how
know.
you got here, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm also not naive or stupid. Quality of work, quality of services, and quality of outcomes. You can hear the chatter. We have weekly one-to-ones. We have scorecards. We have all of the metrics in place for them to hit. But I let them hit it in the manner they see fit to hit that, as long as it meets the time frames and requirements that I have. That's what we do.
I think that's great. For us, we had to start using it because we were in the shoes like you were that, hey, trust everyone until otherwise. But then again, there comes
Yeah,
a period where you get taught a lesson
correct.
by, hey, you got to have something, especially when you have people like us, we have 300 people
Yeah, you
and
have
we
to.
need some sort of automation. Our clients expect more from us and from our people. So we just did not have an option on top of that, but we've tried to turn it into where, hey, this is a productivity tool. This is going to help you do a better job when you're working online and
Right.
gives us a little bit more insights on how we can go in and proactively help you, unless in the other direction it might be too late by the time we get to you. And sometimes you're also able to catch on to things in real time as soon as they happen if you can create automations around it. There's like red flags that your AIs can be running all the time, and if those things are happening, then like you need to be alerted immediately, no
For
matter
sure.
how much you trust your team. I get that part. But and then all these mega corporations and everyone has some sort of systems like these in place already.
Right.
And I feel like we'll put a pin in it for you for right now, Nick, but then we'll focus on the growth here. I feel like that could be just a tool out there. Eventually, when the team goes to 50, 60 people, you guys may have to, and then again, you're transitioning
Right.
over the next 2 to 3 years to hopefully fully remote.
I got good news. You guys do that for me. I don't have to. I get a report every single week or something like that. A time doctor.
Yeah, we
Y'all
got
quit
you.
doing. I was gonna say y'all already have it for me. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, we have a system in place for that, so that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So here's another question around culture. I know culture is really near and dear to your heart, and
Yes.
I'm gonna wrap it up here. What holds your agency culture together across time zones and borders? What's that? I know you talked about the tool, the Kumo space,
Yeah.
but
Kumo space would
what?
be the number one for sure.
So
But I
that's
can I
that.
expand on that.
Yeah, no, that's your tool. But what's the values behind your culture? What are you trying to achieve? When I feel like culture, as I define it, I told this to Josh once, that culture is the collective output of all your people that the outside world sees. That's what people see as your culture. Like all your 20 people, what's the collective output of these bunch of people? That
Mhm.
to them is culture. How would you define culture at your agencies?
A brand is what the world thinks of your company, correct? That's your,
Mhm.
you can control it to a degree, but at the end of the day, it's what everybody feels about your brand. What is your favorite brand?
That's a good question. Let's say Apple.
Beautiful. Apple has an entire culture, right? The culture inside or the brand is what you and I feel about Apple, right? The culture is what their own team feels about the brand. So when my team thinks about the company, what do they think? The best way to do this is for me to leave the room. So culture is what happens when the owner leaves. Culture is, all right, the owner left. Am I still crushing it? Am I still high fiving my teammates? Am I still holding each other accountable because we want to win? Are we laughing and cutting up and having a good time appropriately? We're not talking religion. We're not talking politics. We're leaving that outside of the walls so that we can
Hmm.
focus on what we're here to do. Are we showing up on time? Are we showing up for each other? Is that happening without me having to enforce it? That's culture. I set the guardrails, but is it being enforced when I leave the room? That's culture. Everything else is just lip service.
So how would you measure that at your agency?
So we do one to ones. Our leadership does one to ones with each one of the team members. We have this really cool tool that we built that every Friday it goes out and it's a questionnaire and it's basically an emojis. Is I can't give you all the questions, but I'll give you as many as I can off memory. First of all, your name, right? So let's just say Hannah. How was your workload? How was
Hmm.
your energy level? This is for the week. How was your workload? How was your energy level? How do you feel appreciated? Again, they're answering in emojis, sad face, happy face, and everything in
So
between.
this is happening weekly?
This happens every single week, and I don't have to ask anybody to fill it out. They just do
Nice.
it. They just do it. I get a
Nice.
notification to get it. Hey, it's time to do your weekly report. And they do it. And I get to pull all this information in. Me and my leadership team, we take it and let me get, how's your workload? Are you overwhelmed? Are you okay? How is your mental energy? I'm stressed out or I'm good. I've got high energy. What one thing, if improved, would make the biggest difference for you right now? And then who do you want to give a shout out to on the team? And we ask this every single week. We get the information every single week. And it's all in our Slack message in a thread that we can take and we can put into a dashboard and we can measure how our team culture is doing based off of that. So that's it. So monthly one-to-ones. And I even do a quarterly one-to-one with everybody. So somewhere in there, I'm going to hop in as the owner and meet with her. I can still do that now. I don't think I can do that forever, but for now I can do it. And then those weekly reports are amazing. Now there's also the ancillary things you can do. When we're all having a bad week and we know it, let's go down and get a margarita and some chips and not talk work and just laugh and cut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
On Mondays, we open up meetings with dad jokes. Appropriate, but dad jokes. So that's the kind of stuff that you can build a culture around so that when the work gets hard, because it always will, when the work gets hard, you've built a team, not a family. We don't look at it that way, but a team of people who are all the same goal of running the play and getting the ball down the field and over.
I think what I see is I see you guys are going to do fantastic, and 2026 is going to be great for you guys and further. And I think you're going to easily be able to transition your culture from fully online. Now you guys are hybrid to fully remote over the next 2 to 3 years. It's going to be a piece of cake for you guys because I think the bases you've covered them. We're just going to use some different tools to get to those water cooler moments and things like that. But I think it's going to be really like, for example, for us, like all our people are going to go play pickleball this weekend.
I love pickleball so much.
So everybody's getting together. My brother is heading there right now. He's on his way. He's going there from Delaware to Pakistan. And he's going to be part of the pickleball tournament across the company. So those things can be brought inside the virtual world, or it can be happening at a bar, like you said. And there's ways to make those things happen in the virtual world. And I wish you good luck, Nick. I think you're going to do phenomenal, man. It's been a pleasure having you as a friend and now a client. And I really look forward and appreciate our friendship.
Azar, I feel the exact same way. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you and your team.
Thanks a lot for doing this, Nick. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, see ya.
Took a Airbnb and did some strategy sessions.
There you go. Hey, you got to do what you got to do to get that right off.
To that, let's see what happens.
I like desert and dirt. I'm in.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you like the wind.
Yeah, I definitely like that. When we're done today, I'll be probably going to find an airplane to jump in.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, man.
That's fantastic, dude. That's amazing.